I would like to start by thanking the fans. I thought the fans were out in force today, and I'm disappointed that we didn't give them more to cheer about. I mean, we certainly did not have one of our better days. I have to compliment the University of Houston and Tony Levine's team. I thought they had an excellent team coming in, and certainly they proved that. And just to finish the opening statement, this game, you say, how does a game get like this? And it's really, I don't think any more complicated to us than what we talk about. We talk about running the football and stopping the run. We were able to run the football today. We were not able to stop the run. We gave up 211 yards rushing. Secure the football and take it away. We weren't able to secure the football. 5 interceptions and a fumble. It's hard, and we didn't get any back. It just makes it really hard to win football games when you have numbers like that. So with that, I would open it for questions.
Kyle, is this too easy for Houston? The way that they did this 611 yards, they basically went up and down the field when they wanted to.
I don't know.
I know turnovers contribute to some of that.
I don't know if anything's easy. I don't know if you coach long enough, you get to be on both sides of these, and I don't know if you ever think that they're easy, but certainly when you look at the turnover disparity, that's how I think the score gets out of hand the way it did.
How will you approach the next couple of days with deciding to pull Gary and put in Chase? What are your thoughts on the quarterback position right now?
I think Gary's got to make better decisions. We've got a lot invested in him, and as the starting quarterback, we're counting on him to make quality decisions, and I don't think today was his best day making decisions. I think he knows that. So I thought it was in his best interest and everybody's to watch for a little bit and just kind of gather himself. We've got a lot of football left to play this year, and we'll evaluate the details and the specifics of it tomorrow when we see the film. But I know Gary will be back and be ready to start preparing for the next game.
Hell, this is 2 straight games the defense has given up a season high in rush yardage. Are you seeing any themes there? Any particular reason why? Well,
I think the first thing I would say is you got to win one-on-ones. Their offense will stress you into some one-on-ones in space, and when you have some of the bigger plays that they had, we have people who can make those plays, and today we didn't win those one-on-ones, and that's partially our issue that we have to look at and make sure we're putting the right people in the right places. And I think some of that has to be credit to them, to the athletes on their football team.
Coach, with the wide receiver position starting to have been using Simmons earlier, were those guys just not 100% Carew and Pratt and Cole?
Sure, yeah, they were probable for the game. So it's I don't know if anybody's 100% if you're playing at this point in the season, but you never really know till game day what somebody's going to be able to give you. So we get them out there in pregame, and then we get them out there and you watch them in the first quarter and you watch them in the first half, and you see what ultimately you think you'll be able to get at them. But we have full confidence in Andre and John, and I thought they did a nice job this week in practice, so I didn't have an issue with us using them.
Coach, you guys were still in the game and driving at the start of the second half when Savon threw the halfback option interception. What went into that play call there, and what did you think that turnover particularly did to deflate momentum?
It was a play that we had game planned for that field zone, and something that we had practiced during the week. And I think if Savon could do it over again, he'd get the ball up a little bit more and give Brandon a chance to go up and get it. It looked like on the field that it came up a little bit short. And what does it mean in the game? It's another turnover that you have to overcome. I mean, it's no more complicated than that. We get the ball down in the red zone, first drive of the second half, opportunity to cut the lead to 7. But when you turn it over down there, now it's one more turnover that you have to overcome at that point in the game.
How much of an issue, I mean, we've talked about it a lot this season, but the missed tackles again today, I mean, how much of a concern is that becoming for you?
It's always a concern. You certainly don't want it. You have an overabundance of missed tackles. It's not good, but every week on defense, we're going to put the best players out there, and we got to coach them as well as we can. And the evaluation for us, I think, has to be, okay, do we have the right pieces in the right place? If we have the best pieces in our football program in the best places for them, I do believe that when we execute, we'll play better defense than we did today.
Kyle, from what you know, what happened to Lorenzo?
I believe it's a high ankle sprain. I don't know that for sure.
How can Dave keep trying to compensate for the absences of all these key defensive players?
Oh, there's no pity or sympathy even involved. I mean, there's no team in the country that's going to feel bad for us. Everybody's dealing with injury issues all over the country. So, we've got 85 players on scholarship, and when something happens to a player and he gets injured, the next man's up, and we got to get ready to play and get ready to compete.
Kyle, this is Gary's 3rd season as quarterback. Is there a point you reach where you have to make a change, when he's not going to get better, when this is what he is, when you have to consider making a change?
Well, we did make a change today. know, what I would say is, every year, every player at every position has an opportunity to win the position. And then once they win the position, they get a certain amount of trust that we give to them in terms of performing at that position. And when they perform, they get to continue to do it. And when they don't, and today was a day where I think when Gary sees the decisions that he made, he's going to want to make some different ones next time. And then I think you have to make a change.
So
You know?
following up on that, then Gary's job is not. I mean, there's a chance he might not be your starting quarterback going forward after this.
I don't know that. I'd have to look at the film before I could make that judgment. I just thought today, it was in his best interest to watch for a little bit and give Chase an opportunity to get out there and play.
I don't know how much of an opportunity you had to speak with him at all, but in your mind, in Gary's case, was this a case of him being confused by what he saw and not processing what he saw out there, or in your mind was he just flustered and made some poor decisions?
I don't think he was flustered. I think he made some poor decisions.
Kyle, the reason I used easy before, they're 28 of 35, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns passing. Is it disappointing? It was almost like pitch and catch, to be honest with you, a couple times. Disappointing to you this is the third spread team that has kind of gone up and down the field and through the air against your defense?
I think what it does for us is it makes us reevaluate what we're doing. But we would do that anyway. We reevaluated even when we performed well to make sure that it just wasn't players making plays independent of the system. But you know, I think it's more obvious to everybody when you don't play well.
Coach, it looked like a lot of the secondary was having trouble finding the ball once it was in the air. Is there something you can specifically fix, or do you just chalk that up to inexperience and hope it gets better the more they play?
No, we don't chalk anything up to anything. You know, we have to coach every detail of everything we're asking the players to do. And leaning and locating the ball in the secondary is one of the skills that you train the defensive backs every day to do. And if we look at the film, we didn't do it well enough today, then we're going to keep coaching them and make sure we get better at it.
Kyle,
Got time for two more?
it's easy to look at the 600 yards and look at the secondary, but did you guys get enough pressure on O'Korn? We talked about the defensive line being a strength for this team. Today it seemed like O'Korn had quite a bit of time most of the plays.
Hey, I'm going to go back to the rushing yards. I think that is a better indicator of what you're talking about. When teams are able to run the football, it makes it a lot easier as an offensive lineman to protect the quarterback. You know, if you can make a team one-dimensional, which we didn't do today, then you have really a chance as a defensive lineman to turn it loose.
How about Goodwin's performance in the first half? I mean, good to see him bounce back after the Louisville game with another 160 yards.
Sure, you know, it wasn't the plan going in to ride him the way we did, but I've always said, you know, when you have a tailback who looks like he gets into a rhythm and has a chance to affect the game, I think you have to give him a chance to do that, and I think that's why the carries are skewed that much with Justin today.